the big story tonight is the atmosphere. For Page, the head coach, Coach Rathbone, he had his team practicing some music all week this week to prepare for how loud it will be tonight. And at Nolensville, Coach Derek, he told his team after Wednesday's practice, you need to visualize yourself making plays tonight. So then you've already done it. You can get the nerves out of the way. This is going to be the biggest crowd we play in front of all season long. So go ahead and visualize yourself so then you can do it in the big moment. And for the Bart Durham injury report, you guys already mentioned it. The one injury tonight is on the Page side. Senior wide receiver Max Collins, he will be out after being injured last week. And so that is the Bart Durham injury report. And right after this break, we're going to have a whole lot more for you guys, including starting lineups and kickoff right after this break. Darius Johnson, already 100 yards, 2 interceptions, 2 TDs. From the other side, I'm saying, how do I limit him? How do you make sure that you still have that production in this second half?
Well, you know, it's got to keep doing what we do.
At the end of this game, you said special teams was going to be really big. You had that kickoff return to open up the game. How big of a statement was that?
Well, first of all, let me congratulate you for being a great hustler to get me back out here and not paying any attention. It was huge. I mean, you know, it's going to come up again in the second half.
And that last drive really was the definition of how this game has gone so far. What can you say is going to be key coming back out into the second half?
Poise and composure and acting like we've been here before. I mean,
Coach Rathbone, penalties and turnovers in key moments. How do you fix that going into the second half?
Well, hopefully us just settling down will help a little bit. I mean, it's a good atmosphere. They're excited, rival team. So hopefully we'll settle down and start playing a little bit better.
And you talked to your O-line about playing their assignment, then the next offensive drive, Cunningham rushes for a touchdown. How do you continue that momentum into the second half?
How about Vanderbilt's performance in the Paradise Jam? We'll get to that in just a second. Let's start with Chattanooga. They're going through a bit of a rough stretch. If they want to get back on track, it's going to take someone that Vanderbilt knows all too well.
Yes, Abby Cornelius. She had her career high of blocks with 5 last year against Vanderbilt and also had a career high 18 rebounds. Last night against UAB, she had 20 points, but she also got in foul trouble, so they're going to need to keep her out of that trouble if they're going to be successful tonight.
Let's turn the page to Vanderbilt. Speaking about the Paradise Jam, how about the performance of freshman Ayanna Moore?
Yes, in the last game against DePaul, she had 13 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 steals, which will be key since UTC is known for turning over the basketball. So that's something you saw Coach Burrows walking back out to the court, just then looking at the stat sheet, and you know she is not happy seeing 27 points scored off of those turnovers. Vanderbilt has really been capitalizing on their defense, turning that into points tonight.
A lot of different people have been very...
Renee Alexander, she has been knocking down shots. Got slowed down a little bit in that second quarter, but she was really lethal in that first quarter. And you can't ignore Jordan Cambridge. She has just been stealing the ball on the outside and transitioning that into points for the Commodores.
And 5 steals, some share of turnovers as well in that first half.
That's something that you know Coach Shea Rupp was talking to her team about in the locker room during halftime, is we can't go back to that. They've been doing so well limiting their turnovers in the last few games. Welcome back into Film Room presented by Chick-fil-A. I'm Sami Kincaid, and today I have with me quarterback coach Jeff Levy and defensive line coach Shane Burnham. Welcome, you guys.
Good to be here. Thank you. How you doing, Sammy?
Ready to talk about another big win, and let's start on the defensive side of the ball because you had one guy that had an incredible game. Titus, he had 3 sacks. Well, we were just going over his stats.
Yeah,
it's insane.
It was a mouthful. 3 sacks, 4 TFLs. Kid had a great night on.
Coach, congratulations. You just signed a big boy, Adrian Medley.
Oh my gosh.
6'4", around 310 pounds.
Dude,
big
long,
boy.
athletic. Gosh, man, it's great to have him, man.
And yesterday, the Braves were looking to leave a little dirt behind before the Pirates could get their brooms out. It was game 3 of the series, and who likes watching home runs? Because I sure do. So let's head to Pittsburgh for a little home run derby. For the Bart Durham injury report, let's start out on the Clarksville side with number 8, Robert Riley. He is battling a shoulder injury. He saw limited practice time this week because it flared up during the McGavick game last week. So you're going to see him have limited time on defense tonight. Last week, they limited him on the offensive side. So tonight, he is expected to play on the offensive side of the ball. And for Springfield, it's really the opposite. You're going to see 2 faces that did not get to play last week. Number 36, Jalen Jones, and number 3, Jaquavion Johnson. Yes, they've had 14 points off of Vandy's 12 turnovers in this first half. That's one thing that Coach Ralph really harped on before the game is they cannot have as many turnovers this game as they did on Tuesday night, and they already have 12 just in the first half. Yes, a lopsided win by Vandy, taking it 97-58, and that was led by Briley Bartram, who had 23 points that game. She will be starting tonight. It'll be interesting to see who steps up also with her. And you really could not have asked for more from the senior. She had 20 points, 7 rebounds. Those 20 points only 4 short of her career high of 24 points. And she was an absolute leader on Tuesday night against Gardner Webb. And that's somebody that you can really expect to step up tonight against the Trojans.
Also, I saw a good performance by Jordan Cambridge.
Yes, they've had 9 different players start for them so far this season. They're having to rely on freshmen like Paige Kinseth. They really have that next man-up mentality. And tonight, they're going to be without Jade Compton, a huge loss for Presbyterian on the offensive side of the ball.
Yes, she is the top scorer.
This is a rivalry that's been going on for 50 years. These two schools actually used to be one school called Central High School, and then they broke apart 50 years, and they actually had to coordinate with each other to plan their home games because they would play both of their home games at MTSU since neither had a home stadium. Then once Blackman and Siegel came along, both of these schools got their own stadium so that they could play home games at their schools, which actually, if you look at them, they mirror each other. They look very similar, and there's a lot of history between these two. We're right now at Tomahawk Stadium, and you can see the teepee behind me. Oakland, they were practicing all week nonstop to the Tomahawk chop. It is very deep, this rivalry here for the Battle of the Borough. But for the Bart Durham injury report, let's look at the Oakland side. You have 2 injuries on that side. You have Jake Riggs, O-lineman, that is out with a broken leg, which they've been having to fight through injuries all season long. They've had 10 guys start on the O-line. And then you also have Bronson Crisp, who's out in a sling right now. So that is your Bart Durham injury report. Right after this break, we're going to have kickoff, coin toss, starting lineups, a whole lot more for you coming up.